This particular global nightmare would truly come from the heavens.
And the stars of heaven fell to the earth, and the heaven departed, and the kings of the earth hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains.
Objects falling from heaven are mentioned more than once in Revelation.
In the book of Revelation, John is seeing what appears to be, in a vision, all these stars falling from heaven. It could very well be a massive meteor shower or massive meteor impact or massive asteroid impact on planet Earth.
John's vision is rooted in the real history of comets and meteors striking our planet.
Throughout history, phenomena in the sky, especially comets and meteors, have been deeply unsettling to human beings.
During biblical times, only one power could cause the stars to fall.
The most obvious explanation is that God is doing something to express his displeasure.
Biblical scholars have discovered a word that's mentioned several times, one that ties directly to the prophecies. It's a star that derives its name from a plant with an appropriately bitter taste. Wormwood.
When the third angel blew his trumpet, a large star fell from the sky. The star was called Wormwood.
Could the wormwood prophecy be fulfilled by an asteroid heading towards Earth?
Wormwood is a scary prophecy because it does such damage, killing so many people and so much plant life and so much animal life. It's clearly something to be so huge it'll be trackable by modern technology.
What religion has interpreted as prophecy, scientists like Dr. Phil Plait now view as fact.
Far and away the biggest danger from the sky would be an asteroid impact, because if we wait long enough, it will happen. A big rock is going to hit the Earth. 100% guaranteed, rock solid, bet on it.
There are meteors out there. They do hit the Earth periodically. Meteors large enough to cause serious damage hit every century or so.
Can an asteroid hit the Earth and destroy everything? The signs already surround us.
A chunk of iron, probably about 50 yards across, slammed into the desert out there about 50,000 years ago. The amount of energy that was released, probably something like 20 megatons, which is 20 million tons of TNT exploding all at the same time.
One event defines the extreme. 65 million years ago, scientists believe an asteroid hit the Earth with an unimaginable impact.
Our planet got incinerated, cremated.
A rock about 6 miles across, now mind you, that's bigger than Mount Everest, hit the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico. The energy from this impact was beyond belief.
That much mass with that much velocity is about 100 million megatons of energy. And a megaton is an average size hydrogen bomb. So 100 million hydrogen bombs of energy.
The 6-mile-wide asteroid caused damage on a biblical scale.
All of that energy of motion was converted into heat. It vaporized a huge amount of seawater. It created a tremendous plume of vaporized water and molten rock as it hit the Earth's crust.
There were tidal waves, tsunamis, that may have been hundreds of meters high. The Earth shook, equivalent to what they call a magnitude 12 earthquake. It splashed debris around the entire planet, which came back down into the atmosphere and heated up like shooting stars with about 20 million megatons of energy.
Within a few hours of impact, fires were raging across every continent. It was literally hell on Earth. Can an asteroid trigger an apocalypse? It may already have, just not for mankind. The evidence is clear. An asteroid collision could happen, so it's not a question of if, but when. The Arecibo Observatory has been tracking objects in our solar system since 1963. It is still the largest telescope on the planet. Unlike optical telescopes, radio telescopes like Arecibo make their observations electronically, similar to how radar works.
We have a 1 megawatt radar system, possibly the most powerful radar system on Earth, that we use to track asteroids and get very precise information about the trajectory of these asteroids. And therefore we can indeed improve our knowledge of the orbit of these objects, and we can tell whether an object poses a danger or not.
What they're finding is startling to religious and scientific communities alike.
The objects that are dangerous to us are the ones that are big enough to do substantial damage. Those are taken to be the ones that are sort of 500 feet across and larger. Of the 500-foot size, there's 10,000 to 20,000, I'd say. And we know where maybe somewhere between 10 and 30% of those are.
By a conservative estimate, 7 to 14,000 unaccounted asteroids pose a threat to Earth. One as small as 100 yards across can still destroy a city the size of Tokyo. If one of these asteroids fulfills the Wormwood prophecy, if it is one of the 7 signs, it would be an apocalypse unlike anything else in human history.
If you have an asteroid that's a couple of 100 yards across, it's the size of an entire football stadium, and it comes in, it'll pass through the Earth's atmosphere and it gets very hot. So if you were standing, say, in New York City and it were going to impact there, you would look up and you would see this huge ball of light going across the sky. You would feel the heat from it. It would be like standing underneath an extra sun.
As the Wormwood asteroid gets closer, the heat will intensify.
It would get hotter and hotter and hotter, and it would be like sticking your head in the oven and turning it on broil. You would actually catch on fire. The buildings would be set on fire.
Within seconds, every building in Manhattan will be set ablaze. But the fire won't last long.
That fire would be put out almost instantly when the rock actually hit the ground.
The Wormwood asteroid will gouge out an enormous crater.
And there would be a huge shock wave which would just knock down buildings for miles around. The pressure wave, the heat, and all of this together would probably completely destroy Manhattan Island.
Wormwood hits with such incredible impact that a third of all marine life is destroyed and coastlines are destroyed.
It poisons the sea, it kills people, it kills plants, it kills animals, and so there's tremendous devastation, and it's global.
Some of the most devastating human impact may unfold in the days and years after an asteroid hits. A phenomenon that's called impact winter.
A lot of the ejecta, the material that's been excavated from the crater, can actually obscure sunlight. And enough sunlight can be obscured that you could actually shut down photosynthesis, and plants would die and the entire food chain would be disrupted.
You're talking about deaths on an unimaginable scale, huge impact to the global economy, tremendous amounts of areas where food won't be able to be grown. And so you're talking about long-term effects, not just the instant effects of the impact, but long-term effects that could go on for years.
Death from the heavens can happen, almost as the prophet John describes in the book of Revelation. It is only the beginning of the journey toward the ultimate biblical apocalypse. Believers in the 7 signs and scientists both agree a plague that could kill millions may just be a matter of time. The 7 signs prophecy describes horrifying disasters. But for those who believe in the end times, God unleashes all his fury, and the worst is on the way. Disease. It's been feared by every civilization since the dawn of man. Even today, humanity is still terrorized by several epidemic diseases. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS,